How to overcome the urge to binge. This video is especially for people who suffer from either binge eating disorder or bulimia. The video can be also useful for drug addicts, alcoholics, everyone who struggles with an urge that they need to overcome. So a bad habit or even a self-destructive habit like alcoholism or drug use that needs to be overcome, but that is really hard to overcome. So here goes. So if you suffer from an eating disorder or an addiction, you know how it goes. You get triggered and then you start the battle that you are always going to lose. That was what it was like for me when I tried to overcome the urge to binge. I got triggered and then the battle in my mind started. And I didn't want to binge. I knew it was bad for me. I knew it was destroying my life. But I always lost the battle because the urge gets so intense and so irresistible that you just have to give in. You have to binge. You feel like if you don't binge, you're gonna go insane, but like literally insane. And then you just give in and you binge. And I know what it feels like. And in the beginning of my recovery, I always used to think, when I was triggered to binge, I started the battle and I felt I was losing the battle. And I used to think, you know what, there must be something that I still don't know yet that is required to know in order to resist the urge to binge. There must be something that I still have to learn in order to resist the binge. But I didn't know what it was yet. I felt like I just couldn't grasp it. And it was almost there. I almost got it, but at the same time I didn't quite get it yet. But I felt like it would come to me someday. There was something, some secret I still had to find out about. Some secret that I still needed to reveal, some puzzle that I still needed to solve in order to finally be able to resist the urge to binge and to finally say no to a binge and to overcome a binge. So it was like this perpetual promise to myself that, you know what, next time I'll overcome the binge. I'm sure I can do it next time. Or, you know what, by next week I may have found out what it is that I need to know to be able to resist the urge to binge, and then I'll stop. So it was like this perpetual promise that never happened. And the first time that I was actually able to resist a binge was when someone told me that the feeling I was experiencing when struggling with the urge to binge was a completely irrational feeling that wasn't going to go away. When you feel this way, when you feel the urge to binge, you feel like you're going to go insane. And that is a complete irrational feeling, and there is nothing you can do to make that feeling go away. There's nothing you can do. The only thing you can do is ride it through. The feeling will go away. It might go away after 5 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 10 hours, 24 hours, but it will go away. But you have to ride it through. And that's really hard. You might go through aggression, you might scream, you might cry your eyes out, but you have to ride it through. But how can you? How can you when you feel like you're going insane? How can you ride it through? I mean, you feel like you're going to die if you don't binge. Well, someone explained to me that urges are like waves. And a wave, you know, starts here and it increases and it increases slowly and it increases until it peaks. And after the peak, it decreases again, and it decreases and it decreases and it decreases until it's gone, until it's no longer there, until it no longer exists. And this is the same with the urge to binge, and actually with every urge. The urge to have a glass of wine, the urge to smoke a joint, the urge to smoke a cigarette. All the same. It starts when you're triggered and it gets stronger and stronger and stronger until you think you're going to go insane, and then it will decrease. And you can learn how to surf the wave. You can learn how to surf your urges. Just know that it's going to pass. And for me, knowing that the feeling wasn't going to go away, that there wasn't something that I still needed to learn, knowing that it would go away after a few hours, knowing that there was hope that it would decrease, made it possible for me to finally do it. Finally resist the urge to binge. And I can give you tips like go do something else, but if you really have an eating disorder or if you're having an addiction that is so bad to overcome, then I know that just going for a bike ride or making a puzzle or cooking something or reading a book isn't going to help. You are probably going to feel so insane that you can't even focus on something else. You don't want to focus on something else, you just want to binge, right? It is better to go and do something, but you have to be willing to try it, and your eating disordered mind doesn't want you to try it. It's gonna be easier if you just try it, but I totally get it if you can't. But just know that it's okay to cry, it's okay to scream, do whatever it takes, but don't binge. Just surf the urge. Learn how to surf. You can do it. Just the knowledge that this feeling is going to pass and that the feeling you're feeling is completely irrational. There is nothing to be scared about. You're not going to die, you're not going to go insane, and this feeling will pass after a few hours. Just surf the urge. And when someone told me what I'm telling you now, the next time I was triggered, I was able to overcome the binge. And I was so happy. And that's what I wanted to share with you today. Something else that really helped me a lot. And this was when I was binging because of other reasons than anxiety. Sometimes I would be triggered by someone else eating something really good, really yummy, especially during social events, and I would suddenly feel super depressed because I couldn't have that piece of chocolate. Or I'm just gonna give you an example. It was Christmas and we were celebrating Christmas with my grandparents, and at the end of the evening it's tradition that my grandparents give all of the grandchildren a big plate with candy and chocolates and really special chocolates filled with all kinds of goodness. But as always, I was dieting, and I was already on a high carb, low fat vegan diet back then, and I actually don't feel like I'm missing out on anything on a high carb, low fat vegan diet. But the thing with eating disorders is they manipulate you. And what happened was that in advance I decided that I was going to take the plate, but all of the non-vegan foods I would give to someone else, and like the nuts and the healthy stuff I would keep for myself. But when my grandfather handed over the plate and people started eating from the chocolates and stuff that weren't vegan, I felt so depressed. I felt so sad. I was like, I saw my niece eating a certain chocolate, and I was like, I bet I have never eaten that kind of chocolate before in my life. And it was almost like this tragic moment. But what I realized, what I've learned, is that at that moment, it's not you who's sad. It's not you who's depressed. It's your eating disorder who's sad and depressed. Because it's trying to manipulate you into binging, and it's not working. So it really helps to externalize your eating disorder. It's a manipulative bitch. This is how I sometimes call my eating disorder, a manipulative bitch, the devil. And it tries to manipulate you in every way it can because it wants to keep you sick. It doesn't want to let you go. It is going to use every trick in its book to keep you sick. So what's happening when you're triggered by someone else, for example, eating something that you think you want, is your eating disorder is going to give you the feeling that you're sad and depressed and that it's really tragical that you can't have that. But that's not true. That is so not true. And you need to realize that it's your eating disorder who feels sad and depressed, but not you. And the moment I did that, I applied that every time something like that happened, and it really helped me because I felt sad and depressed for a second, and then I was like, oh wait, I'm a really happy person. I'm not sad, I'm not depressed, my eating disorder is depressed, I'm not missing out on anything. This may sound really weird, but this really helped me. It made the moment of denying yourself a binge less tragic. First of all, if you're not vegan and you want to eat chocolates now and then fine. Eat the chocolate when you see your niece eating a chocolate that you also really want. But don't binge. Don't let it turn into a binge. If you become sad because you can only have 1 or 2 chocolates, just know that you're not sad. Your eating disorder is sad. Your eating disorder is depressed, not you. I think it's just kind of a thinking technique I use to be able to relativate certain things. Yeah. I really hope this video was useful. Let me know in the comments. And if there's something else I can help you with, if you're suffering from an eating disorder or anxiety, then please let me know. And if I need to work on something to make these videos better, you can also let me know. Okay, I'm going to end this. Bye!